Hello, welcome back to From Soft Server, or From Soft Serve, you From Soft Servers, that's what I meant. I haven't had enough coffee yet, clearly. But I am in Blighttown. I decided to do a little bit of work on Blighttown because I hadn't really revisited it in quite a while. And as you can tell, I made it darker. I changed the env diff setting for the lighting ID number 2, which is mostly used. In my version of it at least. And so yeah, it kind of darkens it. I got rid of my extra torches I added, like through most of the pillars. I got rid of those torches. I think they were fine, but they were also interacting with the new shadows because I actually went through and I modified the big map pieces, basically, and I turned on back face rendering because they sort of have their ass hanging out like a lot of the meshes in this game. And so I fixed that, so now the shadows don't look particularly weird. Also, you'll see fog here. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Yes, I am wearing Havel's armor, and it's very slow and it's very heavy. But yeah, so there's a shadow coming from the top of here that you'll see. And then there's a little bit of light that basically comes in from the sky. Because you can still see the sky up there. And so you'll see the light kind of hit the bricks just a little bit, not hitting the bricks in that way specifically. I still have my water, of course. I'll defend that change until I die. I love the reflectivity of it. It's really nice. But yeah, you kind of head over here. You get some nice shadows coming in, and the light sort of still seeps through, basically. And I think it actually is super atmospheric. And I'm really liking how it looks. The fog, let me cure my poison here real quick. God damn this motherfucking place. And the stupid, gotta be chomping on these like they're Mentos. But yeah, so basically this fog is from Firelink Shrine. And I don't think I've actually shown it before, but it's really easy to port one particle effect from one map to another. Ow, you son of a... Hey, where'd the fly go? You all saw that. Oh yeah, there he is. Okay, there's the jabroni. Honestly, you can kill me. I don't care. But yeah, it's actually super easy to port one from another because they're not on all maps. They're not all stored in like a common effects one. So if you go to Dark Souls Remastered, SFX, and this is where they actually list all of the, or they bundle in the particle effects, and you'll see there is a common effects one, which I think has like the torch, wall torch sort of a fire. I think that's included in there. You can also see the common effects one is massively bigger than all the others, which does make sense. I think they're used basically anywhere. And then you have the specific ones that are basically for each map, like M1302, M1400 is Blighttown. And basically what we do is you crack this open, the DCX file. It then makes a little SFX file here. And so what I did is I cracked open the Firelink Shrine one, 1002, and basically the other thing you have to do is go to DS Map Studio, and you'll see here, I believe this is one. Yeah, I created a region point, and I connected it to an SFX that I made. And basically the SFX, this is where you find the actual number for it. So in Firelink Shrine, I looked at the fog that was there, and I saw that the ID was 100-201. And so then basically you go into the 1002 FFX BND, you go to output data, effect 64, and then you'll see here's a giant list of all of the particle effects, and you'll see here's 100-201. So basically you copy that, and then you go all the way back to SFX, you go back to your Blighttown one you opened, and you fly through here, and you'll see I've already added it, and we have 100-201.ffx. But now we're not done, and so now you need to go back all the way to the beginning, open your Yabber XML, and you'll see I added basically this portion is added. I basically duplicated this down here, and then I just entered the 100-201.ffx. There you go. And then you save that, and then you go back, and you basically will hit Yabber on that, and it will now, whoop, pops down the new one down here, and now you can call that particle effect by using a region point, which handles where it's actually located. And then you'll see basically that I called it Fog 1, and then in SFX, which you can see you can make them over here on the left. So in SFX, I basically just duplicated something, and then I just called it whatever I wanted. So I call it Fog 1, and it's actually really nice. You can keep them the same. So basically this field here is where you tell it where does it need to go. And you tell it this region point here, which the name of that region point is Fog 1. And the name of this SFX separately is Fog 1. So it's really nice. You can actually organize it really well. It doesn't care if they're the same name. And then you leave the part name empty, so it renders it all the time. But you can connect it to a collision or a map piece if you want. So if that map piece is being drawn, it will draw that SFX. If that collision is being stepped on, it will draw it. So that's sort of what you can mess with. And then you just have to mess with your event IDs. But basically, yeah, I created like 10 different ones, and I put them all over Blighttown. What I need to do is try to crack it open and hopefully kind of figure out... Oh, I also added it to Northern Undead Asylum. That was true, I forgot that. But yeah, anyway about that. I'm trying now to like go into the actual SFX itself and affect the color, because I think it doesn't fit in super well in Blighttown. I think it's okay, but I would like to actually change the color of it, like an RGB value or something. But I've looked in here and I haven't had much success yet, as I've kind of been flying through this, and I haven't really found any good like coloring data for it. I've mostly found like the float and then the flicker and the certain like timing of different things and why it, you know, how fast it generates and all of that. But yeah, I haven't specifically, I've tried modifying some things, but thus far nothing has worked, which is fair. But you know, I kind of like the fog. It is definitely set up for the area that it is in. So it was originally in Firelink Shrine. So you put it in some areas and it's not going to look 100% correct, right? Which does make sense. It was not intended to be put on different maps. It actually fits in Northern Undead Asylum super well. Oh my god. I don't know how people play this game with fat rolling. That's unbelievable to me. But there are people who do it. Absolute madmen. Alright, let's get the... Oh my god, his fucking shield is that heavy. Get out of here. I'm making a video. Although you do enhance my videos because it's more funny when I'm getting chased by shit. Alright, Havel, take your shield off. The other thing I did just for fun, because I was looking into... Hey, bitch ass. Okay. They didn't want that smoke. I mean, they kind of did because they went for it anyway. I did have to replace the actual walls in here, the texture. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Can't really see anything. Oh no, on your screen you probably can't. That's just on my contrasting monitor in the morning. I can't see a goddamn thing. But yeah, you'll see the texture actually looks really nice. Its original texture was sort of like that sandstone, like greenish thing. But unfortunately that was like hard coded to look like dog shit. And I've run into a handful of textures that are like that. Like no matter, even if they look better once you upscale them in game, they just it's just ain't gonna work. So basically, I took this from another part of Blighttown, as you should do. I didn't want to bring in some texture from a way different area, but you'll see they have added depth and surface detail to these textures. So very nice. Yeah, this is what the texture was. It was sort of this grimy, it's what this floor is, which it looks okay, but on the wall it looked particularly, well, okay, I guess it looks okay. I don't know, we'll keep that. That's good enough. But yeah, so messed with that. The other thing I did just for fun, as I was looking at, let me open up let me sit, that way I don't fucking die. Also, the lily pads are kind of weird. As you'll see, I don't know, the lily pads stand out a lot. I don't really know why. I'm pretty sure I have them set to the same light IDs, but such is life. There was something interesting I found yesterday. It ended up being a whole like story that ended up, I was kind of wrong, but there was a fun thing where if you go into character, and I was looking at Gwen, okay? I was looking at Gwen, and I'm like, all right, let's look at this jabroni. And I was opening up his Fiverr file, because I was kind of curious of the Great Lord sword, which is what I've made most of my videos using. And anyway, so I was pulling up Gwen's Fiverr file. And yeah, you see his sword, whatnot. Cool beans. And I saw over here weapon A 260, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's just what Great Lord sword is classified as, right? No, the 260 is actually not. I found out that basically that is let's go to parts. So 260 is not that at all. If anything, 260 is actually in this Fiverr editor. 260 is this, which is actually the dark sword, which at first I was like, I didn't recognize it because I haven't messed with weapons a lot, so I'm pretty ignorant on this kind of stuff. And anyway, I pulled it up and I was like, what the shit? That doesn't look like his weapon. Why is his model referencing a sword he is very clearly not using? And basically, what it ended up being is that it might just be a holdover from something earlier. It probably doesn't have any lore implications, although apparently there were dark wraiths in the kiln of the First Flame at some point, so in development. So there is some connection there. But then I think it was somebody, one of the Fantastic Souls modders, basically showed that really what it is that they likely use the dark sword as a placeholder for special effects and whatnot. And so even with Sif's sword effect, they actually use the dark sword as like the placeholder. So that's probably what this is. It's just interesting that the Fiverr file still references 260, and yet the sword that's actually showing up is very much not. So for whatever reason, it is what it is. But I did actually take the chance to upscale the Great Lord sword. I basically took the texture from Prepare to Die, because it turns out that texture was better, more accurate, and I then created a normal map based on that upscaled Prepare to Die texture. And because interestingly, the let's see if I can pull it up here. So if we go to 268, which is the Great Lord sword, so 268, let's go into TPF. Yeah, or no, oh, damn, okay. So that's actually my new normal. Okay, well, screw it. Basically, the normal map originally for either Remastered or Prepare to Die had no real surface detail on the sword itself. It was basically just flat and nothing. And so my normal map is obviously based on the albedo texture, or albedo. And so you'll see there's actually nice like sort of imperfections and weathering. It's sort of like a sword that's been through a lot of shit. And so that's actually all now visible on the sword. And it has a nice specular. I didn't mess with the specular, but because the normal map is better, it basically enhances how the specular functions, it seems. And yeah, so I probably will just go through every single weapon and armor set in the game and do the same thing and make sure that it's always using the best texture possible. So if it is Prepare to Die, then I'll use Prepare to Die. I'm always going to look at that because I do feel like obviously that's the more accurate look, right? So I do plan on going through all the armor sets because there are texture mods for the armor. But from what I know, I don't know if, I'm assuming some of them started messing with the normal maps, but I don't know. Because some of the normal maps are way better than Prepare to Die. And like Remastered, they just don't have any detail, but then some of the textures are better in Remastered. So it's not like it's not 100%, 0% kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this quick little look at Blighttown. Let me know what you think of Blighttown. Do you think it looks spooky and sort of? Someone pointed out on Twitter, they're like, I'm getting Valley of Defilement vibes, and I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've been playing a lot of Demon Souls, and that is the swamp daddy to Blighttown is Valley of Defilement. So it's the OG. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this look. If you did, a subscription to the channel would be appreciated if you like these kind of videos. Liking the video helps a lot, gets it sent out to more people, and sharing it is also cash money. And yeah, so hopefully, I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.